Dr. Sheila Nazarian is an Iranian-American plastic surgeon. She fled Iran as a child. Thank you for being here with us. Can you characterize the feeling amongst people that you were with over the weekend as you got the news that the Supreme Leader had been killed?
Dana, it has been just an incredible few days for the Iranian people. We left Iran ourselves. It wasn't our grandparents. We are first generation, and we have very clear memory of the brutality, the oppression, and the iron fist with which this Islamist psychopath led. You know, I love that gentleman in the video said, you know, Clinton gave them uranium to enrich. Obama sent them pallets of cash on a plane. Biden released sanctions to the tune of $16 billion, enriching them to fund terror through their proxies all over the Middle East. President Trump gave him what he deserves, hell. He gave him hell. And the Iranian people could not be more jubilant or appreciative.
Yesterday, the Iranian Crown Prince Pahlavi said this to Maria Bartiromo. Watch here.
It's a game changer we've been waiting for all this time. We are so elated of the fact that now we have the beginning of the very end of the regime, because at least we are going to see more and more decimation of this regime, which can only equal the playing field so that the Iranian people could come back to the streets and claim the country back from this hated regime.
And Sheila, the Washington Post also had this, excuse me, it was the AP headline, that some celebrate in Iran after Supreme Leader's death, but deep fear and uncertainty remain. So obviously there's a mix of emotions, and the answers and solutions are complicated because the problems are complicated. Do you have a hope of who you might see try to lead this country from here on out?
I love Reza Pahlavi, who just spoke. I think he's a pure heart. He's been fighting for this moment his whole life. I do trust him and his family to do the right thing and lead a transitional government. However, I do want to mention that while the Revolutionary Guard is still powerful, it's going to be very difficult for an unarmed Iranian population to take their country back, quote unquote. And
so what would you like to see? Do you want them to be armed? Because there were people gathered in Tehran yesterday who were mourning the passing of the Supreme Leader. So that's why I say the solutions are complicated. There's a lot rooted in here. And you were a child when you left. For some people, like for Joey Jones, for example, his entire life has been with what we had before the bombing. Your life was, you understood it beforehand. You know, I did too. I remember being terrified of the Ayatollah when I was little and thinking Ronald Reagan would protect me from him. So, but there are people there who supported that regime. How do the people of Iran come together?
So about 90% of the people want regime change, but there's about 10% at a minimum that support this regime, and that amounts to 9 million people. So it's the equivalent of having 9 million terrorists in your country, 9 million extremists in your country. And it is a big problem, and now I think we're starting to understand why the Shah, pre-revolution, had such an iron fist for these types of people. Because honestly, Dana, a democracy in Iran is possible, but it might not look exactly like it looks here. In my mind, it might look a little bit of a combination of democracy here, plus what El Salvador did to the gang members and to the people to bring peace into that country. There has to be a little bit of an iron fist to control that neighborhood.
One last quick question for you, if you could just reflect on what this could mean for freedom, especially for women.
Oh my gosh, you know, we've seen videos, Dana, in Iran of women just being kicked to the ground, kicked in the head for showing 1 inch of hair. This mentality, this religion, this ideology believes that if a virgin is killed, she goes to heaven, so they rape the women before they kill them. I mean, it is not free for women. Women cannot be comfortable in their own skin. They're constantly watching their back. Who's going to attack them? Where is my neighbor morality police that's going to report me? Right. So this is true oppression to the women here, the white liberal women especially here in America, who scream and claim to be oppressed. You have no idea what oppression is. Go live in Iran for 30 days and then come back and complain about your lives here in America.
Dr. Nazarian, thank you. Let's stay in touch.
Thank you.